Hello, I am Mobed Virgil the Doubtful. It's Zoroastrianism. Look it up. And this is the poorly animated and largely plagiarized Book of Mormon, moving into the 11th chapter of 2nd Nephi, which is very short. Hooray! So I'm going to combine it with other stuff. Oh, I know, I'm with you. It's been really bad. It's been really copied from stuff and a lot of proclaiming how great God is and how America is the next big thing on God's agenda and how God has these sort of leftover kids all over the world that one of us has got to raise up enough to get to Jesus. I don't know. Yeah, we're moving forward and hopefully we will actually have something happen, but being it so short, I don't know that we're going to. And we'll get through this together. And now Jacob spoke many more things to the people at that time. Nevertheless, only these things have I caused to be written, for the things which I have written sufficeth me. Man, Nephi is trimming his brother's long, boring, plagiarized speeches down. I would normally complain, but I don't care. Jacob really isn't the best speaker. Maybe if you're there. I don't know. Fine. And now I, Nephi, write more of the words of Isaiah. Is your brother speaking, Isaiah? For my soul delighteth in his words. No, you're ignoring your brother and transcribing Isaiah, which you have on the brass plates. For I will liken his words unto my people. Liken, L-I-K-E-N. Does that mean you'll make them like them? And I will send them forth unto all my children, for he verily saw my Redeemer, even as I have seen him. Isaiah saw Jesus, Mr. Jesus Christ. And now my brother Jacob also has seen him as I have seen him. Who? Jesus? Wherefore I will send their words forth unto my children to prove unto them that my words are true. You're sending your words to prove that your words are true. Wonderful. Wherefore by the words of three. What is the words of three? God hath said. Well, there's three words, but I don't think those are the three words you're talking about. I will establish my word. By the words of three, I will establish my word. I have to look this up. That's bananas. I'm confused. Okay, I'm back. But I don't really have a good answer. It looks like, and I don't know if this is correct, so this might just be, because I don't have an official position on this, this appears to be a more skeptical perspective. It's talking about Joseph Smith's occult background, is the whole history stuff that I'm not going to go into in this series, but he apparently felt that if something was repeated 3 times, it gave it some sort of importance. It amplifies the message. So by the words of 3, God hath said, I have established my word. So he says it 3 times, and since God is a supernatural being, it locks it down. It makes it super true or super important. But none of it's official, so that is my 2 cents. Nevertheless, God sendeth more witnesses, and he proveth all his words. I would debate that. Behold, my soul delighteth in proving unto my people the truth of the coming of Christ. For this end hath the law of Moses been given, and all things which have been given of God from the beginning of the world unto man are the typifying of him. And also my soul delighteth in the covenants of the Lord, which he hath made to our fathers. Yea, my soul delighteth in his grace, in his justice and power, and mercy in the great and eternal plan of deliverance from death. And my soul delighteth in providing unto my people that save Christ should come, all men must perish. That save Christ should come should be a comma there, all men must perish. For if there be no Christ, there be no God, and if there be no God, we are not, and we have already done this, for there could not have been a creation, but there is a God, and he is Christ. You see, you're backing through your logic, and he cometh in the fullness of his own time. And now I write some of the words of Isaiah, that whoso of my people shall see these words may lift up their hearts and rejoice for all men. Now these are the words, and ye may liken them unto you and unto all men. And that is the end of the 11th chapter. So we're going to move ahead to the 12th chapter, which also isn't particularly long. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amoz, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem. And it shall come to pass in the last days, when the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills, and the nations shall flow unto it. And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways. Really? You mean physically go to the top of the mountain, like Zeus sitting in Olympus on top of the mountain? Oh, great. And we will walk in his paths, for out of Zion shall go forth the law, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among the nations, and shall rebuke many people, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares. Oh, good. And their spears into pruning hooks. They managed to get that in there. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord. Yea! Come, for ye have all gone astray. every one to his wicked ways, every single one of you, you bastards of Jacob's house, you sons of... Therefore, O God, O Lord, thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east, whatever that means, and hearken unto soothsayers like the Philistines, those goddamn dirty Philistines, and they please themselves in the children of strangers. Ooh, please themselves in the children of strangers. I hope that doesn't mean what I think it means. Their land also is full of silver and gold. Silver and gold. Neither is... I said I'd stop singing, but it just is a song in my heart. Neither is there any end of their treasures. Their land is also full of horses. Well, you know, speaking out silver and gold. Eventually you're going to buy some horses. Neither is there any end of their chariots. That seems like an exaggeration. Their land is also full of idols. Wow, they're very successful. Maybe that's not a bad thing. They worship the work of their own hands, that which their own fingers have made. And the mean man boweth not down, and the great man humbleth himself not. Therefore forgive him not. Don't forgive him, God. They're terrible. O ye wicked ones, enter into the rock, and hide thee in the dust. For the fear of God and the glory of his majesty shall smite thee. And it shall come to pass that the lofty looks of man shall be humbled, and the haughtiness of men shall be bowed down, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. For the day of the Lord of hosts soon cometh upon all nations, yea, upon every one, yea, upon the proud and lofty, and upon every one who is lifted up, and he shall be brought low, one who's lifted up. I think singing really helps me get through this. Yea, and the day of the Lord shall come upon all the cedars of Lebanon, for they are high and lifted up, and upon all the oaks of Bashan. Is Lebanon known for cedar? I am entirely ignorant of the imports and exports of the nation or area of Lebanon. And upon all the high mountains, and upon all the hills, and upon all the nations which are lifted up, and upon every people, and upon every high tower, and upon every fenced wall. Really? And upon all the ships of the sea, and upon all the ships of Tarshish. Tarshish. We're going to Tarshish. Engage. And upon all the pleasant pictures. And the loftiness of man shall be bowed down, and the haughtiness of man shall be made low, and the Lord alone shall be exalted in that day. And the idols he shall utterly abolish. All the American idols. And they shall go into the holes of the rocks, and into the caves of the earth, for the fear of the Lord shall come upon them, and the glory of his majesty shall smite them. And he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. In that day a man shall cast his idols of silver and his idols of gold, which he hath made for himself to worship, to the moles and to the bats. The moles and the bats are going to get rich. They are promised some stuff here. God is the God of the moles and the bats. He's like, you just wait for it, man. To go into the clefts of the rocks and into the tops of the ragged rocks. Oh, I guess he means they're going to throw them in caves and holes, and that's where bats and moles live. For the fear of the Lord shall come upon them, and the majesty of his glory shall smite them. And he ariseth to shake terribly the earth. You've already said that. Why are you saying it again? Cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostrils. What? Cease ye from man whose breath is in his nostrils. I don't know. For wherein is he to be accounted of? End of chapter. That was a little abrupt. So I'm going to peek forward, check chapter 13. Lucky 13. One moment, please. Please hold. Yeah, all right. Chapter 13 is pretty short, so I'm going to keep rolling. We're going to keep plowing this. For behold, the Lord of hosts, doth take away from Jerusalem and away from Judah, and stay and the staff, and the whole staff of bread, and the whole stay of water, the mighty man, the man of war, the mighty man, the man of war, the judge and the prophet and the prudent and the ancient, the captain of 50. I don't know. Not 48. And the honorable man, and the counselor, and the cunning artificer, and the eloquent orator. I like, oh, they're speaking about me there. Haha. And I will give children unto them to be their princes, and babes shall rule over them. Man, we're going to be ruled by the babes. I like it. I'm down for that. And the people shall be oppressed, every one by another, and every one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly against the ancient, and the base against the honorable. When a man shall take hold of his brother of the house of his father, and shall say, Thou hast clothing, be thou our ruler, and let not this ruin come under thy hand. In that day he shall swear, saying, I will not be a healer, for in my house there is neither bread nor clothing. Make me not a naked, hungry ruler of the people. I edited that. For Jerusalem is ruined, and Judah is fallen, because their tongues and their doings have been against the Lord, to provoke the eyes of his glory, to show of their countenance doth witness against them. The show of their countenance doth witness against them, and doth declare their sin to be even as Sodom, and they can't hide it. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Oh, and side note, the sin of Sodom was not just they liked the butt stuff. It was more complicated. There was more to it. And they cannot hide it. Woe unto their souls, for they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Say unto the righteous that it is well with them, for they shall eat the fruit of their doings. Woe unto the wicked, for they shall perish, for the reward of their hands shall be upon them. And my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them? Oh no! Wait, are these, so the babes are not ruling over them, it's women. So you're letting non-babe women rule over you. How horrible are you people? This is, the children are their oppressors and women rule over them. This is the curse that they are being promised. Good grief. This is probably out of Isaiah too. It's probably not Joseph Smith or Nephi who's doing this. This is probably Isaiah or some other, I don't know where this is from in the Bible. It doesn't matter. It's horrible. Oh, my people, they who lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. The Lord standeth up to plead and standeth to judge the people. The Lord will enter into judgment with the ancients of his people and the princes thereof. For ye have eaten up the vineyard and spoil of the poor in your houses. What mean ye? Ye beat my people to pieces and grind the faces of the poor, saith the Lord God of hosts. Moreover, the Lord said, because the daughters of Zion are haughty, and walk with stretched forth necks and wanton eyes. Or like that. Stretched forth necks and wanton eyes sounds sexy. Walking and mincing as they go, and making a tinkling with their feet. Good grief. Man. And they're going to rule over you. Therefore the Lord will smite a scab, the crown of the head of the daughters of Zion, and the Lord will discover their secret parts. The secret parts. I guess he's turned on by their tinkling feet. In that day the Lord will take away the bravery of their tinkling ornaments, and calls and round tires like the moon. I don't know what that means at all. The chains and the bracelets and the mufflers, the bonnets and the ornaments of the legs and the headbands and the tablets, and the earrings, the rings and nose jewels, the changeable suits of apparel. It doesn't like ladies to be dressed up, man. That's horrible. And the mantles and the wimples. What a wimple and the crisping pins. Good grief. What is all this? The glasses and the fine linen and the hoods and the veils. Wow. That is just a litany of things he does not like women to wear. Awful. That's why Mormon women dress sort of stereotypically in those Little House on the Prairie dresses, I guess, because there's all this list right here in 2 Nephi 13. And it shall come to pass, instead of sweet smell, there shall be stink. Stink. And instead of a girdle, a rent. And instead of well-set hair, baldness. Baldness is going to be set upon you. And instead of a stomacher, I don't know what that is, a stomacher, a girding of sackcloth, burning instead of beauty. The men shall fall by the sword, and the mighty in the war, and her gates shall lament and mourn, and she shall be desolate, and shall sit upon the ground. Well, there you go. I think that's enough for today. That was kind of bananas. End of 13 ends with a nice long list of things, and we've been promised that babes shall rule over us, although I may be reading into that intentionally. Those 3 chapters were pretty dull. Nothing really happened, and we're, I think, quoting out of Isaiah, checking Isaiah 3. A lot of this is Isaiah, all of this is Isaiah 3. This whole thing is Isaiah 3. Well, there you go. Isaiah 3 is terrible. So add that to your notes. I don't know. Hopefully next time this will improve. I don't know what 14 is going to be. I'm not going to look yet. But like, favorite, come back, and as always, I am your guide, Virgil. I'm waiting for the babes. I want them to take over.